Alright, so this guy treated our female lead as his only light since childhood. But growing up,
she avoided him like the plague due to his illness, until he literally ran into a blazing fire to die by her side. Only then did she realize just how deeply this quiet, obsessive guy actually loved her. It is low-key heartbreaking.
So when she regresses back to their college days, she immediately bolts straight to the school gates to find him.
The exact second she appears, the dead, silent look in Wen Sining's eyes instantly ripples with pure emotion.
He just stares straight at her like she is literally the only person left in his entire world.
But then he remembers what she told him in the past, that he was never allowed near her again.
Wen Sining takes a step back to leave, but his mind and his legs are totally out of sync.
He freezes up awkwardly, hangs his head, and purses his lips to whisper a quiet apology.
She is completely stunned. Like, why on earth is he apologizing to her right now?
Honestly, she really never expected that their very first interaction would be an apology.
After saying those words, Wen Sining just stares at the ground, slipping right back into his own little world. Ever since they were kids, she knew he was autistic. Before they met, he literally wouldn't speak to anyone. Wen Sining would just stare at the floor all day, completely ignoring whatever his parents said to him. He had zero reaction to anything. The doctor said he was just completely lost in his own world. But whenever she appeared,
his eyes would instantly lock onto her. She actually spent a ton of time helping him through therapy.
Through her help, he improved a lot and finally started speaking. But after they had their big falling out, she barely heard anything about him anymore. With no clue how his recovery was going, she looks at Wen Sining right now.
She gently asks if he came to find her, but he just keeps staring at the ground.
Since he stays completely silent, she does not rush him and just waits. After 3 whole minutes, he finally nods. She asks him softly what he needs.
But Wen Sining just shakes his head again.
Standing there, feeling a bit awkward, she suddenly remembers that terrifying fire from her past life.
The haunting image of Wen Sining charging straight into the flames to die with her.
All her old resentment is completely gone, but seeing him standing right here after regressing? It feels like there are a million things to say, but neither of them can find the words.
The silence is so loud, and she scratches her head, completely lost on how to break the ice. Meanwhile, Wen Sining is just staring at the pavement like he could do it for a whole day. But while they are having this silent moment, the driver by the car is low-key losing his mind. Watching them just stand there, he is seriously stressing out on their behalf.
He is thinking, Miss, you literally come to Wen Sining school gate every single week.
Now that you finally met him, why are you just standing there in absolute silence?
Just say you missed him already.
But then, Wen Sining's stomach suddenly lets out a loud rumble. That instantly shatters the awkward silence, and she smiles, asking if he's hungry. Wen Sining's long eyelashes flutter as he finally looks up from the ground. He looks at her with a confused expression and softly grunts that he is indeed hungry. Then he immediately goes back to spacing out at the floor. She literally facepalms.
It completely slipped her mind that his brain is just wired differently.
To him, hunger does not automatically mean go find food. She just smiles warmly. Grabbing his hand, she gently tells him they are going to get some lunch. Leading him toward the school cafeteria, she leaves Wen Sining staring in absolute shock. He slowly looks down at their intertwined hands, and a tiny, subtle smile tugs at his lips. Seeing them walk off, the driver quickly tags along to make sure she stays safe. Honestly, what a wingman. See, Sining's parents had literally ordered the driver to stay glued to her side. So when Lu and Sining arrive at the cafeteria, it is right during the peak rush hour. The moment a gorgeous girl like Sining walks in, literally every single student turns around to stare. Everyone stares, but our boy Lu does not care about the attention. On the other hand, Sining is low-key dying inside, visibly tensing up her shoulders and tightly pursing her lips in distress. She even shrinks closer to Lu, and seeing her frown like that makes the driver instantly panic. He knows an episode might be coming and immediately starts jogging over to prevent a massive meltdown. But Lu just turns to her, gently asking what she wants to eat today. Honestly, Sining's head is already throbbing with crazy pain, making her look incredibly frustrated and overwhelmed as she gets super annoyed. But Lu's calm voice suddenly cuts through her panic, making her freeze for a second. Just like that, all her rage and anxiety melt away, and she just stares blankly at him. She does not answer, but Lu already knows how she is and does not force it. He does not want to leave her hanging, though, so he just starts chatting to fill the silence. It is honestly so cute how he just starts rambling and talking to himself to ease her mind. He mentions remembering how she always used to steal the braised pork right out of his bowl. He asks if she still likes it, and hearing those words, something shifts inside Sining. It is honestly like a warm spring breeze just swept through her chest, completely suppressing all of her chaotic and irritated emotions. Her tensed-up face relaxes, and in this moment, her entire world is literally just him. All those judging eyes around them do not even matter to her anymore, and seeing Sining completely calm down, the driver, who had just dashed over a few meters, literally stops dead in his tracks. He is absolutely speechless, his eyes wide with pure shock at what he is witnessing. See, whenever the young mistress has a full-blown episode, she either ends up hurting herself or severely injuring whoever is standing close to her. Every single time, they had to pull out all the stops just to get her under control. Yet this time next to Lu, she actually calms down in literally less than 2 minutes, which is absolutely wild. No wonder her mother is always talking about Lu. The guy is literally a walking cheat code.
At the cafeteria window, Lu orders a portion of eggplant and potatoes for himself.
He also grabs some braised pork, ordering the exact same set of dishes for Sining.
But since she has a pretty small appetite, he keeps her portions on the lighter side.
He pays with his own school card, and now it is time to grab their trays and eat. As they carry their trays over to a table, Lu has to patiently teach her how to hold it step by step. But the very second he pulls his hands away so she can hold the tray herself, Sining instantly frowns in distress. She immediately shoves her hand right back into his warm palm, absolutely refusing to let go of him. Her worried face finally relaxes, but Lu has to pull away again, telling her she needs both hands. He says they cannot hold hands right now, but Sining immediately grabs him again anyway. She keeps grabbing his hand over and over again, completely refusing to stay apart. She just refuses to let go, and Lu is pretty helpless against her stubborn attitude. Honestly, back in his past life, this stubborn clinginess would have had him totally losing his mind, but he is built different now. But this time around, he is way more patient, deciding to just let her hold his hand. But Sining catches him frowning for just a split second, and her heart immediately sinks as a quiet, desperate panic sweeps over her. She knows a frown means he is getting angry because she is not listening to him. She is terrified he will hate her, but she literally cannot control her own overwhelming urges. All she wants is to hold his hand and never ever let go of him. But if he gets sick of her, he might just walk away and never speak to her again. Just the thought of losing him makes Sining's head throb with that sharp, piercing pain again. It feels like needles are stabbing her brain, and the pure pain makes her clench her fists. He got so startled when she suddenly punched herself right in the temple. The driver watching from afar panicked and immediately rushed over to help. Lu quickly grabbed Wen Sining's hand, gently telling her everything was okay. They kept holding hands. Honestly, the driver was clearly used to this situation. He immediately pulled a bottle of medicine out of his pocket to give her. The driver urged Sining to take it so the pain would stop. But Wei Sining completely ignored him, taking a long moment just to react. She stared at Lu, hoarsely asking if it was true, catching him off guard. He raised their clasped hands right before her eyes, proving his promise. Her lips twitched slightly, forming a tiny smile. She finally dropped her hand and stood quietly by his side like a lost puppy. The driver was dumbfounded. He had never seen her calm down this fast. No medicine needed. Lu is literally her human cheat code. Seeing Lu holding a tray with one hand, the driver immediately reached out. He offered to take it so they could go sit down together. Lu nodded, since holding Sining's hand made carrying a tray pretty hard. Thanking him, he led her over to a table. They sat in a quiet corner, and the driver quickly brought their meals. Lu nodded in thanks and asked if the driver had eaten yet. He offered his card to buy him food, but the driver refused. The driver insisted a simple snack later was fine, knowing their family rules. But Lu did not push. He handed Sining some chopsticks and told her to eat. She stared at the chopsticks, then at him, before slowly taking them. Our boy picked up his chopsticks with his left hand, though he is right-handed. In their past life, she would always refuse to let go, even during meals. After so many times, he actually trained himself to eat left-handed. That is dedication.
Singing ate incredibly slowly, chewing each tiny bite for ages. She would even zone out completely mid-bite, making him glance over.
Seeing her chopsticks hovering with a piece of meat, he knew she was daydreaming. Speaking up softly, he told her to focus on eating first. Hearing his voice, her eyelashes fluttered as she slowly ate the meat. While Lu was eating quietly, a pair of chopsticks snuck onto his plate. Sining casually swiped a piece of eggplant, making him look at her. He pointed out she still had some left, but Sining stayed silent. Instead, she swiped a slice of potato too, leaving him totally speechless. So he pushed his plate closer. By the time they finished, it was nearly 1 p.m. Now, her family lived in Liu City, while Lu went to university in Yun City. Even though they were neighbor cities, driving back still takes over 4 hours. If they did not leave now, it would be too late. Lu walked Suining to the gate.
Asking the driver to take her home safely, the chauffeur politely agreed.
The driver told Lu not to worry. Hearing this, Sining, realizing they were parting, her grip on his hand tightened. Lu felt the pressure and looked up, meeting her incredibly sad, longing gaze. In his past life, he had seen this exact look too many times to count. A wave of old memories from their previous life suddenly rushed back. Honestly, the way Qingyu looks at her is so sweet. His voice goes completely soft as he tells Sining to head home. He warns her that her mom will worry, but Sining just shakingly shakes her head.
So Qingyu gently pats her head with a soft smile.
That single head pat makes her eyes light up instantly, and her stubborn expression finally softens. She is probably screaming inside because Brother Qingyu actually patted her head just like he used to do. He used to always comfort Sining this way until they started middle school. Some stupid friends made fun of him back then, so he stopped doing it entirely. Major regret. He tells her to go home now and promises to wait for her text to ensure her safety. The mere mention of a text message instantly grabs her attention and shifts her focus. She asks in this super serious voice if Brother Qingyu will actually reply, and he nods with a soft smile.
Hearing that, Sining's lips twitch into a tiny smile, even though her face is still somewhat stiff.
But he can easily spot that tiny curve on her lips, knowing she is low-key overjoyed right now.
Now Sining sits perfectly straight in the back seat as the family driver takes her home.
Her mom always said that if you ever miss someone, you should just send them a text. But Sining used to spam Qingyu with so many texts and he never answered once. But since Qingyu promised he would reply this time, she tightly clutches her phone in pure excitement. She is literally counting down the seconds to get home and text him. Once her car drives off, Qingyu heads straight back to his dorm. But the absolute second he steps through the dorm door, his roommate Chen Feng pounces on him. "Start spilling the beans, buddy, or things get ugly."
He demands to know where Qingyu picked up this goddess, leaving Qingyu totally confused.
Qingyu is like, "What girl?" But Chen Feng just rolls his eyes. He claims it is the girl from the cafeteria. The guys next door already spilled everything.
They saw him eating with this absolute stunner, and apparently there was another woman there too.
He heard she was acting like a total simp, serving food to both Qingyu and his date. Hearing this wild story, Qingyu instantly realizes just how fast rumors spread on campus. He needs to debunk this right now before things get completely out of hand. He tells his roommate that Sining is literally just his childhood friend.
And that other lady was just Sining's family driver, so he is definitely not some cheap player juggling 2 different girls.
But Chen Feng just clasps his hands together with a face of total, absolute disbelief. He is like, "Bro, what kind of normal friends hold hands like that?" So Qingyu explains. He clarifies they were not interlocking fingers, and besides, Sining's situation is pretty unique. She's actually on the autism spectrum, so he constantly has to gently comfort and guide her. Otherwise, she might panic. Hearing this, Chen Feng's reaction is just like everyone else. It is that exact look of shock mixed with pity that people always give her.
He is just stunned that a girl this unbelievably gorgeous could have such a condition.
Her looks could easily gap any girl on this campus, so it feels wild to think about. No one would ever guess she deals with this, and Chen Fang just clicks his tongue in pity.
It is low-key heartbreaking to watch, and Qingyu's brow immediately furrows.
He has heard people gossip about Sining countless times before and never really paid attention.
Back then, he brushed it off, but hearing those same pitying comments today hits totally differently.
It actually makes him feel super uncomfortable. Meanwhile, let's check on Sining. By the exact time Sining arrives back at the house, it is already 6 in the evening, and her anxious mother Su Hui is waiting. She has been craning her neck at the front gate, waiting for her daughter to return. When the black sedan finally pulls up to the house, a huge wave of relief hits her, and she immediately rushes over. But as she approaches, she spots her daughter staring intensely at her phone, completely lost in thought. Honestly, her mom is totally used to this. Sining just zones out and ignores everyone. But she still whispers in her ear anyway, hoping that maybe it will help her recover. Hey, Sining, did you have fun today? Are you hungry, sweetie?
Mom is gonna make dinner right now. Your favorite braised pork. How does that sound?
Sining, let us get out of the car first, then we can think inside.
Sining blinks, snapping out of her trance.
Su Hui smiles happily, expecting her daughter to say something back. Instead, Sining quickly gets out and runs inside, leaving her mother totally confused. Su Hui follows her inside, only to find Sining standing in the entryway. She refuses to move. Her thumbs just tap frantically on her phone before she stares blankly again. But Su Hui spots a tiny smile on her lips, showing she is in a great mood. Seeing her daughter happy instantly warms her mother's heart. She smiles and peeks at the screen, curious to see what she is doing. But the moment she catches a glimpse of that screen, her smile completely freezes. This is low-key heartbreaking. It is a chat with Lu Qingyu, showing their totally one-sided conversation. She just texted him that she got home. But the whole screen is just her sending random daily updates about the weather. Whether it is rain or sunshine, all of her messages have one sad detail in common.
Each one has a bright red exclamation mark because he deleted her contact info long ago.
But Sining has absolutely no idea what that red mark actually means. She just keeps texting him anyway. Any normal person would have gotten the hint by now. They would easily understand they were blocked, but her poor daughter cannot. Su Hui feels tears welling up. She covers her mouth to muffle her painful sobs. Choking back tears, she suggests they go eat dinner first. Maybe her brother Qingyu will reply to her by the time they finish. She gently coaxes her daughter. She tries to guide her to the sofa, but the second she touches Sining's arm, Sining flinches away, frowning and saying that brother Qingyu promised to reply.
She has to wait here, or else he will think she is being bad.
Then he will ignore her, just like when she did not listen last time. She is terrified of never seeing him again. Seeing her daughter panicking like this is actual pain. Su Hui immediately panics and backs down, agreeing with her. They will wait and eat later. Soon, 3 hours pass. Sining is still standing at the entryway, staring at her phone.
Without eating anything, a sobbing Su Hui collapses into her husband's arms.
Her husband, Wen Sining, pats her shoulder and tells her not to worry.
He says Sining has done this before and will calm down soon. He begs her to eat something first so she stays healthy.
But Su Hui cries out, asking how she could possibly not worry.
Sining usually puts her phone down within an hour, but now it has been 3.
Su Hui frantically pulls out her phone, saying she has to call Qingyu. Wen Sining frowns and asks what she is doing, reminding her of their agreement. They promised never to disturb him again, but Su Hui just weeps.
She shouts that she cannot care about promises anymore while seeing her daughter like this.
Sining's mom can't just stand by and do nothing, so she immediately dials the phone. Meanwhile, our boy Qingyu is busy gaming with his buddy Chen Feng when he sees Su Hui calling.
He instantly remembers meeting Aunt Su back in college.
She'd call him once in a while, but honestly, it was always to talk about Sining. Sining would have an episode, refuse her treatment, and her mom needed Qingyu to convince her. But he always turned her down because he wanted nothing to do with Sining anymore. The calls eventually stopped, but now she is calling. Wait, did Sining have another episode? Qingyu picks up immediately, and Aunt Su's voice is already trembling with tears. She tells him she knows Sining was childish and hurt him, and he has every right to hate her. But he is the only one Sining listens to, even if he doesn't want to see her face to face. All she asks is for him to send a quick text to help. Hearing her cry, Qingyu panics. He asks if something happened to Sining and begs her to tell him. He wants to help, while Su Hui looks at Sining, still frozen at the entryway. With tears in her eyes, she explains Sining has been staring at her phone since she got home.
She has been standing right by the door for 3 hours, not even touching her dinner.
She sent him a message, even though her mom knows he deleted her number long ago.
But the poor girl just doesn't understand, and that makes Qingyu freeze. He finally remembers that time in high school when he got so mad at her. He deleted all her contacts and completely forgot about it as time passed. But back then, he had told Sining to text him as soon as she got home.
Now, she is just staring and waiting.
No shot she's actually waiting for him to text back. He quickly tells Aunt Sue to hold on.
He asks her to send Sining's number so he can add her back right away. Hearing he's willing to help, the relieved mom instantly sends over the number.
She even approves the request on Sining's phone, showing a basic, default gray avatar.
Honestly, that blank profile picture totally matches her quiet, detached personality.
Qingyu chuckles and finally texts her, asking if she made it home safely.
He acts totally oblivious to the fact she has been standing by the door for 3 hours.
The moment the message pops up, Sining's dull, lifeless eyes instantly light up. Her lips curl into a smile because her favorite person finally replied to her.
She's convinced he missed her, but it takes her a moment to calm down.
She slowly types back a simple yes, and this time she doesn't have to wait.
He replies instantly. Did she eat yet?
He reminds her to eat, leaving Sining looking up in complete confusion.
She sees her parents' worried faces, but she can't quite read their emotions.
Still, she announces she wants to eat, making her mom absolutely overjoyed. Her mom wipes away her tears and rushes to the kitchen to heat up the food. Her dad, Guo Zhang, is also incredibly relieved to see his daughter normal again. But honestly, it's low-key heartbreaking for him that his daughter of over 10 years ignores him.
Yet she listens to Qingyu without hesitation. Talk about siding with an outsider. Still, he shakes off the sadness and waves Sining over to the table.
He calls her over. Sining slowly walks.
She eats so methodically, taking her first bite of rice exactly as planned.
Basically, her rice-to-side dish ratio and the exact portions have to follow a strict formula. To anyone else, this eating ritual looks completely bizarre, but her mother, Su Hui, doesn't mind at all.
I mean, as long as her daughter is actually eating, she is happy. 15 minutes later,
there's only one piece of eggplant left. Wen Sining picks it up with her chopsticks, pairing it perfectly with the very last bite of rice. Talk about insane precision. The plate and the bowl are completely cleared at the exact same second. She puts down her chopsticks and immediately texts our guy to report she's finished dinner.
Of course, he replies instantly.
He tells her she did great, and getting that praise makes Wen Sining smile happily once more.
She even looks a little proud of herself before turning around to head upstairs. Seeing this, Su Hui grabs her husband's arm in sheer excitement and tells him, "Before, whenever I called him for help, he'd refuse, but now he actually agreed." Does this mean he finally forgave Sining? What if I ask him to take her to the hospital? Would he actually agree to that? Her husband, Wen Guozheng, gently pats her shoulder, telling her to relax. We need to take it slow. Let's observe a bit more so we don't get our hopes crushed again. Meanwhile, back in his dorm, our main character is fast asleep, drifting off. Suddenly, those horrific nightmares of his past life take over, 2 cars crashing at an intersection. Bright crimson blood pooling everywhere. Even though his vision is starting to fade, he can still make out her silhouette. It's Wen Sining, holding him as tight as she can, completely ignoring the raging fire surrounding them. The bright flames light up her face, and her clear eyes only reflect him, right until the inferno completely swallows them both.
He snaps his eyes open, waking up in a total cold sweat.
Why is he dreaming about his past life death again? He wipes the sweat off his brow and checks his phone by the pillow. The screen reads 3 in the morning. Just as he tries to drift back to sleep, Sining's face from the dream flashes in his mind. Before he even realizes what he is doing, he has already typed out a message to her, simply asking if she's asleep. Realizing his mistake, he facepalms immediately. But before he can even hit unsend, his phone buzzes with an instant reply. Sining texted back saying no. Our main character just blinks at the screen in disbelief.
Seriously? He double-checks the clock. It is definitely 3 a.m., not 3 p.m.
Still shaken by his nightmare, he suddenly feels the urge to keep talking to her. He asks why she isn't asleep yet and what she is up to.
She replies in seconds, saying she is just lying in bed. Our guy gets a bit confused. But then it hits him. Normal people lying in bed would be scrolling on their phones or doing something else. But for Sining, lying in bed literally means just staring at the ceiling. Absolutely doing nothing. She's likely just spacing out in the dark. He remembers when they were 8 years old, Sining stayed over at his place for the first time. Honestly, she was just clinging to him and absolutely refused to go home. The second her mom tried to separate them, Sining started screaming and hitting her head in a panic. With no other choice, they had to let her stay, and they ended up sharing a bed. In the middle of the night, he woke up needing to use the restroom. He opened his eyes, only to find her wide, round eyes staring directly at him in the dark. He asked why she wasn't sleeping. Back then, little Sining could barely speak in full sentences. She stuttered out that she was sleeping, so he reached out his hand and covered her eyes, telling her that sleeping means actually closing your eyes just like this. Feeling her eyelashes flutter, he quickly warned her not to open them again. Little Siling finally stops moving, and Qingyu closes his eyes, completely satisfied. Soon, they both drift off to sleep, and Qingyu starts thinking back to those days. He chuckles and texts Sining, telling him that he needs to close his eyes to sleep. Sining replies instantly, saying he knows because brother Qingyu already taught him. For some reason, Qingyu can low-key feel a real sense of pride in that cute text. So Qingyu texts back telling him to close his eyes and go to sleep, sending along a cute online sticker of a giant mother panda gently patting her baby panda's head to sleep. Even if Sining might not fully get the meme, Qingyu feels it fits their vibe perfectly. So he decides to just send the cute reaction image over anyway. Once Sining receives the sticker, he is honestly left pretty confused for a moment. He can easily understand the literal meaning of every word, but these internet stickers are a total mystery. But then he realizes it looks like a head pat, and his eyes instantly light up. His eyes shine like stars, thinking Qingyu wants to pat his head. Okay, that is too adorable. Hidden by the darkness of his room, his cheeks instantly flush a bright red. He ends up staring at that panda sticker for so long that Qingyu actually falls fast asleep. A while later, the phone screen sitting right by the pillow suddenly lights up again. Sining sent back a similar head-patting sticker, and the next day, Qingyu is catching up on sleep. His phone suddenly buzzes with a notification, and he sleepily reaches over to check it. It is a text from Suhui asking if he and Sining had lunch yet. She mentions it might rain in Yun City today, so he should head home early after eating. Having lunch with Sining, Qingyu rubs his eyes, feeling totally confused. With a hazy gaze, he text replies asking if she might have sent that to the wrong person. The very next second, her call comes through, and before he can even say a word, she asks him in a total panic if Sining left for Yun City early this morning. Did he not go find you? Hearing this, Qingyu is instantly jolted wide awake. He sits right up in bed. Sining came to find him? He tells her not to panic, promising to run down and check the school gate right now. With that, he quickly scrambles out of bed, realizing that if Sining actually came, he must still be waiting. He quickly throws on some clothes and sprints out of the dorm, heading straight to the cherry blossom tree by the gate. Sure enough, he spots that familiar figure right there and runs all the way up to Sining, completely out of breath. He gasps out, asking why Sining did not say anything about coming. The second he appears, Sining locks his eyes directly onto him, his gaze trembling with a mix of intense emotions. He is thrilled that brother Qingyu actually came to see him, but hearing that question, he immediately bites his lip in deep anxiety, too scared to even make eye contact. Qingyu does not rush him, just quietly waiting for his answer. Sining keeps nervously fidgeting with his fingers, which is always his classic habit when anxious. He sneaks a quick glance and sees that Qingyu is still patiently waiting for him. Finally, he mumbles that he thought brother Qingyu did not want to see him, leaving Qingyu stunned. Wait, my heart is literally breaking here. Sining stood there all day just because of that? He stood there without even telling him? When did Qingyu even say he did not want to see him? Qingyu instantly wants to defend himself, but as he is speaking, he suddenly freezes mid-sentence. Wait, he actually did say it. It was right after the college entrance exams. During their graduation dinner the very next night, Sining had absolutely insisted on tagging along no matter what. With both of his parents pushing him to, Qingyu had no choice but to bring him along.
Back then, during those dramatic teenage years, everyone had someone special they secretly had a crush on.
Back then, classmates were even confessing on the spot, and our main character, Qingyu, had a crush too.
He kept sneaking glances at his crush during dinner, but Sining never knew when to keep her mouth shut.
She straight up blurted out right there, asking him in front of everyone. Why are you always staring at her, with over 50 classmates and teachers listening? Instantly, 50 teasing eyes locked onto him, giving him the ultimate social death. As for his crush, she just gave him a cold glance with zero reaction. She even told the guys joking around that they were not even close. Talk about a tragic end. His romance was crushed before it could even bud. The moment he got home, he straight up told his parents. He never wanted to see singing ever again. That disaster was definitely the breaking point of their friendship, leading up to their final painful reunion. He had screamed at her, declaring he never wanted to see her face again. Qingyu shakes his head, pulling himself out of those bitter childhood memories. Looking at Sining, he says softly that it was in the past, and he actually wants to see her now. So next time she comes to find him, she has to let him know beforehand. He gazes into her eyes with gentle care, while deep inside Sining's heart, a beautiful flower seems to bloom as she smiles and nods eagerly. If her usual blank, expressionless face is normally as cold as an ancient glacier, then her smile right now is like the warm sun melting all that ice away. It is a stunning, beautiful spring, and every student passing the gate is completely dazed. Even her family driver, who had accompanied her, is standing there with his mouth wide open. He quickly whips out his phone, snaps a picture of a rare smile, and hits send. Over at the other end, Sining's mother, Su Hui, is so shocked by the photo that she literally drops her phone. Once she recovers from the shock, she is absolutely thrilled and immediately wants to print it out.
We are talking like 20 or 30 copies to hang in every single corner of the house.
Sining's smile is honestly next level gorgeous, and even though Qingyu only sees her as a friend, his cheeks turn completely red. I mean, who wouldn't blush with a top-tier beauty staring right at them? For a guy who has been single for 20 years, his heart is absolutely racing right now. Feeling a bit flustered, he awkwardly tells her to stop smiling, and she is super obedient.
Sining instantly presses her lips together, locking back into her usual serious, stoic look.
Our guy clears his throat and pats his burning cheeks to calm his blush down. Once he cools off a bit, he finally asks her how long she has been waiting. He also asks if she has eaten lunch yet, but Sining stays completely quiet. Instead, she suddenly reaches out, poking his cheek, and whispers that he patted it way too hard. He quickly tries to explain that it is not from that, but Sining just tilts her head in confusion. Her eyes are filled with pure curiosity, but he is way too embarrassed to tell her the real reason. So he just makes up a quick excuse, claiming he is just hot and tired from running. Afraid she will ask more, he quickly changes the subject to save himself. He points out that she still hasn't answered him about whether she ate yet. But Sining is built different. She remembers everything perfectly. She notes that her brother Qingyu actually asked 2 questions and reveals she has been waiting for over an hour. When she says she hasn't eaten, it hits him hard because he usually loses patience after just 5 minutes. Yet here she was, standing completely still, waiting for him for over an hour. At that moment, a wave of complicated emotions floods his heart. He softly asks if she would have just stood there until dark if he had never come out. Wen Sining nods, getting ready to head back home at 8:20 p.m. With a 4-hour drive ahead, she wouldn't make it back to Liu City until 11:30 p.m. Our MC freezes, asking with a dry, cracked voice why she's heading back so incredibly late. Won't Auntie Sue worry? Of course, how could she not? Her driver, Lin Wei, sighs deeply and explains that every single time the young lady visits Yun City, her mother gets so anxious she can't even eat, terrified she'll get into an accident or have an episode. But the driver notes that nobody can change her mind except him. Hearing this, our MC completely freezes. Did she visit often? Lin Wei nods. Yes, absolutely. Ever since he started college in Yun City, she has traveled here every single Tuesday just to see him.
She claims she wanted to see him, but she'd only ever stand right outside the campus gate.
Doing absolutely nothing, never going in, never calling him out. The driver figured it was because he once said he never wanted to see her again.
Because of that, she was too terrified to speak and could only visit in secret.
Just to steal a quick glance at his campus. At this point, the MC is already a senior. That means it has been going on for over 3 whole years, since his very first semester. For 3 years, Wen Sining made that trip every single Tuesday, which is 4 times every month. Excluding breaks, that's over 110 trips. Talk about absolute devotion.
How could he not know? Then, a realization hits.
He suddenly remembers his classmates gossiping about a mysterious, gorgeous girl who always waited at the front gate.
Everyone assumed she'd had a massive fight with her boyfriend and was just waiting to apologize.
She would wait out there until late at night, but the guy would never actually show up.
At first, the whole campus was highly invested, constantly whispering about the situation. They all wanted to see the guy who could make such a stunning girl wait all day. They never got to see this mysterious boyfriend, but the girl kept showing up. Month after month, year after year, she kept returning until everyone's curiosity eventually faded away and they stopped caring. Nobody talked about it anymore. Back then, his friend Chen Feng had even dragged him along, begging to go check out the front gate just to see how gorgeous she actually was. But by the time our MC got there, he didn't see any girl waiting around. There was only a low-key, incredibly expensive black luxury car parked right by the curb. Definitely not something a normal family could afford. At this memory, our MC suddenly whips his head around. He looks directly at the vehicle Lin Wei had just parked, the car from his college days.
Was the exact same model. Even in his past life, the luxury car he glimpsed from that bus
was identical. Was she actually tailing him back then too? No wonder she was right there at the scene of his death. Honestly, she used to be so clingy. Yet when he went to college and mistakenly believed she stopped visiting, he just naively assumed that maybe her mental condition wasn't that severe anymore, or perhaps she'd finally been cured. Turns out, clues were everywhere. Her illness never got better. Realizing all of this, the MC hangs his head in pure heartbreak, his eyes tearing up. He quietly asks the driver why he never once ran into her when passing the gate. The driver sighs. His heart starts aching for them. He reveals that she actually hit herself every single time because she didn't want him upset. She was terrified he'd call her disobedient, but starting from last year, things changed.
She barely ever saw him pass by the gate anymore. Last year, our MC's mind starts spinning.
He remembers his junior year schedule was insanely packed, and he only left campus on the weekends. And by his senior year, Tuesdays were completely booked, meaning he never went outside at all. So because she hadn't laid eyes on him in over a year, when he finally ran to her, she actually stomped her foot in frustration. Guess she didn't have time to hide. Lu Xinyu looks pretty downcast, and Wen Sining immediately senses his heavy mood. Her voice starts trembling as she calls out to him, "Brother Xinyu."
Don't cry, she whispers, mimicking the exact way he always comforts her. She stands on her tiptoes to gently pat his head, which their driver, Lin Wei, spots.
Talk about a tearjerker moment. Lin Wei has been working for the Wen family for 4 years now. He spent over 3 years driving Wen Sining, and after all this time together, he treats her like real family. So he tells him, "Mr. Liu, this might not be my place, but the young lady really, truly loves you." Lu Xinyu clenches his fist. "Then let's go." Finally, he gently pulls Wen Sining's hand down from his forehead. "I'm not crying," he tells her. "Come on, let's get some food, even though we're late." The cafeteria only has leftovers by now, and Lu Xinyu scans the counter. None of her favorite dishes are left, so he just gets her some egg-fried rice to get by.
Eat this to fill your stomach first, and we can have the driver get you more food later.
Okay, with that, he leads her over to sit down at a cafeteria table. Wen Sining nods obediently, taking the spoon he hands over to her. She starts eating slowly, while he quietly sits right beside her. Lin Wei's words keep echoing in his head. She really, truly loves you. But with her condition, does Wen Sining even understand what love actually means? She only relies on him because of her illness, and once she gets cured, what then? She probably won't even want to see him anymore. "Sining," he softly calls out. Wen Sining pauses her spoon, looking at him as he asks if she visited Dr. Liu recently.
Dr. Lu is the top national authority on treating autism.
He's been treating Wen Sining since she was only 6 years old.
As soon as Wen Sining hears that doctor's name, though, her mood instantly shifts. She immediately frowns, clearly showing deep distress and rejection. Lu Xinyu gently asks her again, "Did you go?" Wen Sining bites her lip. She looks extremely upset and mutters that she didn't, which doesn't surprise him at all. Her illness hasn't improved, so she definitely skipped her therapy sessions.
His voice gets a bit firmer as he asks why, and Wen Sining grips her spoon tightly.
Frowning deeply, her breathing turns frantic as she screams, "No! I won't go!"
She suddenly starts hysterically screaming and sweeps the fried rice straight onto the floor.
This sudden panic attack leaves Lu Xinyu completely frozen, but Lin Wei reacts instantly. He rushes over to hold her tight, stopping her from hurting herself. "There's medicine in my pocket! Give it to the young lady right now!" Panicking, Lu Xinyu pulls out the medicine bottle, but then he hesitates. He remembers what Dr. Lu warned him about, using too many sedatives. They cause severe physical and mental damage, so she needs to calm down naturally.
The very first step to her recovery is cutting back on those pills.
Lin Wei struggles to restrain her, shouting in panic. Nobody can calm her down during an attack like this. Li Xinyu grits his teeth, making a desperate split-second decision. He reaches out and gently cups Wen Sining's face as she stares back at him. Her face is completely distorted in pain, thrashing wildly to break free. She looks absolutely miserable, so he holds her head steady. "We don't have to go," he keeps repeating, his soothing voice wrapping around her aching mind.
It is that familiar voice she knows. Brother Qingyu is actually here.
Sining's wild episode slowly fades, and her pounding headache finally stops. The moment she calms down, she pouts, looking so incredibly hurt. Seeing Sining quiet down, Qingyu quietly pulls his hand back. He quickly apologizes to the staring students and the cafeteria staff. They promise to clean up the fried rice and shattered bowl pieces. Since he cannot let the staff do it, Qingyu looks over at Lin Wei with concern. He asks if Lin Wei is okay and if he got hurt anywhere. Lin Wei rolls up his sleeve, saying he just bumped into a table. Showing off a massive bruise? Honestly, this is a regular occurrence for him. Sining's episodes require restraint, and after wrestling with her for 30 minutes, both Sining and the servants end up bruised, which is honestly so heartbreaking. Seeing the bruise, Qingyu frowns and mentions the cafeteria has a first aid kit. Qingyu rushes to get it, while Lin Wei waves it off, saying it's nothing. Before he can even finish, Qingyu runs off and quickly returns, carrying not just the medical kit, but also a broom to clean up. Telling Lin Wei to tend to his bruise while he handles the mess. Handing over the first aid kit, Qingyu starts sweeping up the debris. Even though Qingyu keeps a calm face, Sining can tell he is upset. Still sensing his bad mood, she panics when her brother Qingyu ignores her. She nervously rubs her pants with her fingers, totally unsure of what to do. Since brother Qingyu is ignoring her, even Lin Wei senses the heavy tension. The vibe between them is so awkward that Lin Wei dares not say a word. He is just quietly applying his medicine, low-key trying to disappear from the room. Sining gently tugs at Qingyu's sleeve, her face twisting into a strange expression. She really struggles to match her facial expressions with her actual feelings. She absolutely hates this helpless feeling, yet has no idea how to fix it. All she can do is softly call his name, but Qingyu gently pulls his sleeve away. He focuses entirely on sweeping up the glass shards hidden in the corners. Turning back after finishing, he sees Sining standing there. She looks completely devastated. At this point, our main character just has to sigh. The moment he reaches out and pats her head, her eyes instantly light up. All her sadness vanishes instantly, but Qingyu gives her a stern look, reminding her that she just ruined the food he bought and hurt someone else. Sining apologizes instantly. It is like a reflex deeply engraved in her mind. Back then, whenever Brother Qingyu got mad, this was her only way out. Qingyu points toward Lin Wei, and she immediately blurts out another quick sorry. Honestly, the way she apologizes so fast makes it feel totally insincere. Lin Wei looks absolutely terrified and quickly stammers that it is fine.
Sining looks back at Qingyu, gently grabbing his sleeve and waiting. Seeing that he does not pull away, she knows she is finally forgiven.
A tiny smile creeps onto her face as her mood instantly brightens up. Qingyu gently asks why her head hurt earlier, wondering if he said something wrong. Offering a soft apology if his words were the trigger. Sining frantically shakes her head, crying out that she is not mad at him. Qingyu tells her there is no need to apologize, gently patting her head. He knows her headaches are sudden, but asks her to try and control it next time. Wen Sining nods pitifully, agreeing, and before they know it, they are leaving the cafeteria. An hour has passed and the bright sunny sky suddenly turns dark and gloomy. With heavy rain coming, Qingyu remembers Su Hui's warning and decides to send her home early.
He tells her he has class and asks her to go home early today.
Just like that, Wen Sining's happy smile completely vanishes. Talk about a total mood killer.
She is totally against it, but since these are Brother Qingyu's words, she cannot resist.
Her bottom lip pouts instantly as she reluctantly forces herself to listen to him. She looks incredibly pitiful as he walks her toward the school gates. Suddenly, Qingyu gets a text from Chen Feng asking if he is totally distracted by girls. He chuckles at his friend, asking if he forgot they have class this afternoon. He starts texting while walking, and Wen Sining notices his attention is completely on his phone. This makes her look even more miserable, literally like a forgotten kitten waiting for attention. Right as our guy is about to walk straight into a trash can, she gently grabs his sleeve and pulls him aside just in time.
Safely bypassing the trash can, they immediately encounter a small tree right ahead. She tugs his sleeve again, and Qingyu realizes he cannot look at his phone and walk.
So he literally just grabs the corner of her coat and lets her guide him.
Staring at his hand holding her clothes, her sadness instantly evaporates into pure joy.
Honestly, this simple gesture takes her right back to their childhood days. Back when Brother Qingyu played the classic game of eagle-catching chicks with other kids. In the game, chicks hold the mother hen for safety while she protects them. Back then, she could only watch from the sidelines under a big tree. Back then, she just watched. But now, she is finally the one holding on to him. She guides him carefully to the school gates, wishing this walk would never end. Meanwhile, our clueless main character has absolutely no idea how much her mood is shifted. He is just surprised she cheered up so fast and tells Lin Wei to buy her food. He tells the driver to grab her something to eat on the way home. Lin Wei hesitates and begs Mr. Liu to buy it himself instead. He is not making excuses, but he knows she won't touch anything he buys. Everyone knows her stubborn temper. She even rejects food bought by her own mother. But if it is from Mr. Liu, she will happily eat absolutely anything. Hearing this, Qingyu realizes the driver is totally right about her. But with no restaurants nearby, he has to think of another option. He ends up grabbing some bread from a convenience store for her car ride. And look at her, she literally clutches that cheap bread like it is a rare treasure. She nods obediently, leaving Qingyu completely speechless at her reaction. Not even sure if she actually heard him, he still gives her a final warning. But she is already lost in her own world, happily hugging her bread. Back in the classroom, the dark sky finally lets loose. A massive downpour begins, and he is just glad he made it back in time. Heavy rain pelts the car, creating a dull, roaring shield of water all around. Suddenly, her stomach growls loud enough to fill the car, prompting a quick chuckle from Lin Wei. He tells her to eat the bread if she's hungry, earning an unhappy pout. Why eat it? This is a precious gift from Brother Qingyu. If she eats it, it's gone, which only makes her feel helpless. She's even more reluctant to eat what Lu bought. Soon, Tuesday rolls around. Tomorrow is the first day of the holiday, and Lu already made plans with Sining. If she came on Wednesday, Lu could easily hitch a ride home with her. But she came on Tuesday anyway, texting Lu while he was still in class. Class ends and Lu rushes to the gate, while Sining silently counts the seconds. Right on cue, her eyes dart over. A familiar figure appears in the distance. Even though it's just a blurry outline, she keeps her eyes glued to him. A soft smile forms. Her beloved Qingyu is here. Lu says he walked all the way. Why did you come today? Lu asks. Didn't we agree on tomorrow? Sining nervously casts her eyes down. Seeing her silence, Lin Wei steps in. He explains that coming here every Tuesday is a non-negotiable routine for her. If anyone breaks her routine, she will completely lose control. Lu nods helplessly as it clicks. He finally remembers. It's absolutely true. Even when Sigging sits down to eat, where her hand holds the chopsticks and her every movement must be incredibly precise.
Once, during Lu's childhood birthday party, while everyone was eating cake, Sining realized she had to use a fork instead of chopsticks and immediately had an episode.
"Let's go eat," Lu says, gently pulling her hand toward the school cafeteria.
Honestly, Lu doesn't even realize how naturally he holds Sining's hand. It's pure habit. A sweet smile spreads on Sining's face as she squeezes his hand. Her heart is absolutely blooming. The next day, Sining shows up at the gate by noon, but Lu still has afternoon classes. She has to wait until evening, but he's already fully packed his bags. Lu drags his suitcase to the gate early and notices sweat on her forehead. He suggests she wait inside a nearby boba shop to beat the heat. You can sit inside and enjoy the cold air conditioning, he tells her.
Sining doesn't even glance at the shop. She just shakes her head.
Lin Wei steps in to explain that she hates crowded places. Lu gently pats her head, asking if she can wait in the car instead.
Sining absolutely loves this gesture, even if she is reluctant about things.
A simple head pat makes her agree to almost anything. Today is no different. Even though she wanted to stand at the gate, she obediently goes back.
Lin Wei packs Lu's bags and notices how Sining hates seeing him walk away. He gently reassures her that Lu only has 2 classes this afternoon.
That's only 2 hours, so playing on their phones will make time fly.
But when he looks back, Sining is already completely zoned out. She's lost in her own little world, staring blankly. Honestly, she only responds to Lu. Thankfully, Lin Wei remembers his promise. He quickly turns on the AC to a perfect, comfortable temperature. The cold breeze is a total lifesaver on this blazing hot day. With no other orders, Lin Wei pulls out his phone to scroll.
Time flies by, and Sining is the very first to spot Lu returning.
Her clear eyes lock onto him, tracing his every step with absolute devotion.
Qingyu, a name Sining had whispered in her heart 1,000 times. As the name slips from her lips, Lu Qingyu steps closer to her.
He locks eyes with Sining, and her gaze is so deep and intense. Feeling a bit awkward under her stare, Qingyu clears his throat and slips into the back seat.
He gently asks what she is staring at, but Sining just stays quiet. Her eyes never leave him. Meanwhile, the driver, Lin Wei, is up front playing on his phone. Only when he hears Qingyu's voice does Lin Wei realize he is actually back. He quickly puts his phone away and asks if they are heading back to Lu City.
Qingyu nods, giving him the green light.
He thanks him and hands the driver a bottle of water. As the car drives on the highway, Qingyu starts feeling super tired. He leans back, closing his eyes, but remembers to give Sining a quick heads up. He tells her he is going to take a quick nap. "Wake me up when we arrive," he says, and Sining obediently nods. But since his eyes are already closed, he completely misses it. He also misses the fact that during the entire 4-hour drive back, her eyes never leave his face once. Talk about being absolutely whipped, guys. By the time they finally roll into Liu City, night has already fallen. But as they exit the highway, the car hits a speed bump and jolts. Qingyu's head slips, and he's about to faceplant right into the door. Instantly, Sining reaches out to catch his head with her cool palm. Qingyu subconsciously shifts, his soft hair tickling her hand.
Her eyelashes flutter, and a massive blush creeps right up her face.
Hearing Sining's soft gasp, Lin Wei sneaks a glance in the rearview mirror. Seeing her look so flustered and adorable, he can't help but chuckle inside.
He has never seen his young mistress act like this.
"Hey, miss, why don't you let Mr. Lu rest on your shoulder so he won't fall?" He playfully suggests, and Sining blinks, totally taking the bait.
She carefully lifts his head and guides it gently down to her shoulder.
Qingyu frowns slightly, feeling a little awkward in his sleep. He shifts around, finally finding the perfect cozy spot to rest. Being this close lets Sining feel his warm breath, and she is loving it. A sweet, giddy smile spreads across her face. She is absolutely beaming. She is so happy he is still by her side. After they finish dinner at her house, Qingyu plans to head straight home, but Sining's mother insists it is way too late.
She tells him to stay the night and head back in the morning.
He can't really say no to her mom, so he agrees to stay. But just as he is about to close his guest room door, boom, someone blocks it. Sining is standing there clutching a pillow, eyes sparkling as she calls his name. She asks to sleep together, but he instantly shuts her down. Total reality check.
She pouts, looking incredibly miserable, asking why they can't do it like before. And yet, they actually did share a bed until he turned 12. But once he grew up and realized boundaries, he put a hard stop to that.
He patiently explains that things are different now since they are both adults.
Grown-ups have to sleep alone, he tells her, but Sining just frowns, hating the idea.
Growing up is seriously the worst. Sining whines that they can't sleep together anymore.
Qingyu just smiles and nods, agreeing that growing up really does suck. He tells him to head back to his room, but Sining doesn't budge.
Standing there clutching his pillow, he clearly wants to find a way in.
Qingyu steps out and shuts his door, instantly crushing those hopes.
Offering to walk him back the moment Sining hears this? That sad look from not being able to sleep together
Instantly vanishes. Back then, Qingyu was the ultimate neighborhood kid leader. All the local kids loved playing with him, and he constantly invited them over.
Naturally, they'd invite him back, and Sining desperately wanted to do the same. But because of his heavy speech impediment, the poor kid could never express it. So his invitations always failed. But now, Qingyu is actually at his house, even visiting Xingying's room. Overjoyed, Sining grabs his hand and eagerly drags him straight to the bedroom. No time to refuse. They step inside.
Immediately, his eyes are drawn to a little teddy bear in the corner.
It looks exactly like a vintage toy from over 10 years ago. Back then, his family was too poor to ever buy it for him. Seeing it right there instantly floods him with a massive wave of nostalgia. He remembers that this exact bear was discontinued over 10 years ago.
Where did you find this?
Sining's eyes immediately light up. Grabbing the bear, Sining shoves it into his arms, wishing him good night. Qingyu asks why, but gets no reply. But soon, things change.
Spotting a glass cabinet in the corner, he walks over.
Inside, he spots a familiar loaf of bread and a water bottle. Alongside those sit a toy lion and some old, moldy buns. An Ultraman toy sits there too. Asking if someone else gave him these, Sining shakes his head. Qingyu is completely stunned. Wait, I gave these to you?
How does he not remember any of this? Don't tell him.
Is everything in here actually from him? Sining walks over. Pointing at the lion, Sining calls it playhouse money from his brother. Next, he points to the bun, calling it breakfast, then to the Ultraman. The kid remembers the exact origin of every single item in the cabinet.
Bro, this is low-key heartbreaking. Even a tiny pebble is preserved. It's been kept safe for over 10 years. Can Qingyu really cure him?
Suddenly, a finger pokes his cheek as Sining asks if he is unhappy. Sining's own brows furrow in worry, but Qingyu just shakes his head.
Gently asking if there is anything Sining actually wants to do himself?
At this, Sining's eyes light up like literal stars as he looks back.
He says he wants to sleep with Qingyu, making him wave his hands. Besides that, Sining eagerly suggests playing games together.
Realizing how everything revolves entirely around him, Qingyu quickly interrupts. No, something just for yourself, with absolutely no mention of me. Sining's face instantly turns pale as her head starts pounding again.
Crouching down with clenched fists, she cries out for her beloved Qingyu.
She hits her own head, muttering the same painful question over and over. She is having an episode. Qingyu immediately runs over and cups her face, forcing her to look at him. Her hands are sweating and her heart is pounding in her chest.
She rambles completely out of control, not even thinking about her words. Qingyu desperately calls out her name, telling her that he is right there.
Looking at him, Sining's pale face slowly begins to regain some color.
She finally calms down. She hugs him tightly, begging her favorite brother never to leave. This scene is low-key heartbreaking.
Sensing her deep distress, Qingyu quickly tells her he was only joking. He gently pats her back, telling her not to get so worked up. No what-ifs allowed, she mumbles, making him agree with a soft sigh. Fine, he says, but that rotten bun has to go. It is covered in mold, looking absolutely unrecognizable. Honestly, his mother probably wanted it thrown out of the house long ago. The moment he mentions discarding it, she looks incredibly hurt again. He pinches her cheeks and promises to give her a brand new gift. With squished lips, she asks in a muffled voice if he is serious. Qingyu nods and promises. Only then does Sining reluctantly throw the moldy bun into the trash. The cabinet opens. A terrible stench immediately hits. She throws out everything. They bring in a maid to deodorize the entire room. Finally, they can breathe. But looking at her empty cabinet, Singing looks heartbroken again. She pouts her lips and calls for Qingyu. Asking about the new gift, Qingyu promises he won't forget. Go to sleep, he says.
As he turns to leave, Sining suddenly shoves a little teddy bear into his hands.
She tells him the bear is for him, and Qingyu happily accepts it.
He steps into the hallway. There, he runs into Sining's mother, Su Hui, who looks absolutely thrilled. She heard from the maid that Sining finally threw away the rotten food. Thinking her daughter finally grew up, she spots Qingyu leaving the room. Realizing it was all his doing, she prepares to tease her daughter a bit. But then, her eyes land on the teddy bear in his arms, and she gasps in shock.
She asks if Sining actually gave him that bear. Talk about a major plot twist.
Suhi explains that the toy was actually bought over 10 years ago. Back then, these bears were super popular, and Qingyu used to stare at them constantly. After the two of them had a fight, Sining insisted on buying it. She clearly wanted to give it to him, but for some reason, never did. Suhui is more than happy to explain, hoping to improve her daughter's image.
She really wants Qingyu to see how much Sining actually cares about him. Lying in bed that night, it finally clicked. That memory was totally real. She was obsessed with that teddy bear, but her family was completely broke.
Buying it was impossible, which broke her mom's heart.
So she hand-stitched a toy Ultraman instead, and she absolutely loved it. After that, she bragged to everyone that Ultraman could easily fold any basic bear.
He was her absolute favorite. When Xiaoxi heard this, his tiny face wrinkled up with worry, which is low-key heartbreaking.
Fast forward to her first night at the Wen house. Sleeping in strange beds, absolute nightmare.
But having that teddy bear nearby gave her instant peace of mind.
She slept like a baby.
When she woke up, it was already past 10. Suddenly, she bolted upright and sprinted for the bathroom.